but is faced with a dam which held an ocean of storms. Your mother would still be alive today if you didn't love that band so much.
I woke from a dream last night. I had wings.
Unnecessary funerals and depreciated human life.
I'm here with Mariann Wizard on the East by Southeast Spoken Word Showcase on Channel Austin. Glad to have you back again.
I'm so glad to be here, Stella.
You know, this has been a very popular color on the show today.
I'm glad.
I actually have a dress backstage. I might whip it out because everybody's wearing it.
Everybody's wearing blue?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite colors to wear besides black.
Yeah. Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
So what you been up to?
It's been a really busy year, both personally and politically and poetic-wise. I've written a whole lot of stuff this year, and it was difficult to choose, which ones to bring today. But I'm, pretty excited about it, and it's been a great year.
Tell me what you narrowed it down to.
Incendiary political poetry.
Okay.
So it's gonna have a highly political set, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start off with there's a couple of other little things that are a little more personal, but basically it's going to be this last year with the occupation,
right.
Occupy Wall Street turning into Occupy America and Occupy Your Rights, Occupy Your Freedom, Occupy Your Own Head.
Right.
I think it's just been a super exciting year for a lot of people, and I've been really excited to observe and watch and be able to, make some comments and maybe some contributions to that a little bit. So,
well, I'm
interested.
Excited about that. Yeah,
and
definitely. Last year you informed us about the lady that was imprisoned?
Yes, Marilyn Buck, and I have. I'm going to read a poem today that I wrote in honor of Marilyn, and I also have an exciting announcement to make about that. And I will save that.
Great.
I'll save that.
If you don't know who Marilyn Buck was, she was. Can you tell them somebody?
Marilyn was a political prisoner in the U.S. federal prisons for 25 years, and she passed away in 2010 after 9 days of freedom. And she was my friend before either one of us was ever political, and we maintained our friendship. She was a wonderful person, a wonderful poet, and quite an inspiration to people around the world. She mentored hundreds of young poets, young people.
Tupac's
through
mom
mail.
as well, right?
She was a friend of Tupac's aunt.
Oh,
Tupac's
okay.
auntie, his
All right.
aunt Asata, who lives in freedom in Cuba today, partly because of Marilyn Buck's actions.
Well, I love the information that you always bring to the table, so I'm excited.
I'm excited to be here, Stella.
Well, let's see what you got.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Mariann Wizard, Austin, Texas.
Hello, yes. I'm Mariann Wizard, and I'm so pleased to be here today at East by Southeast. As I mentioned to Selah a moment ago, I have a very nice announcement to make for people who remember Marilyn Buck and people who are interested in her life and her work. A posthumous collection of Marilyn's verse called Inside Out is going to be published in May by City Lights Publishing in San Francisco. This is very exciting for people who knew Marilyn and who admired her, and there will certainly be some sort of launch event, book launch event here in Austin as well as in cities around the country. So please look forward to that and keep your eyes open for that in mid-May. I'm going to start off reading a poem that I wrote partly before Marilyn's death in 2010 and partly afterwards. It's called Marilyn's Rose Rising. The pink rose sent out a wild shoot from its base last spring, towering over the grafted plant, climbing into the hedge and attaching itself to the siding, unloosing a myriad of branchlets and dozens of tiny buds. And it scared me when it started blooming brilliant blood red like the blood flowing from your root where the cancer had struck its thorns. But I had to see it as life springing out, rejecting the smothering artifice that bound you for so long, an affirmation, regrowth, rebirth, Marilyn's rose, rising. She has escaped her trellised prison, gone native, viral, reclaiming the DNA of trafficked nature, speaking now the poetry of earth and blood, of sacrifice and waiting seed. On Valentine's Day, I cut the roses to the cane. 8 days later, they're furred with scarlet leaves. Promised summer, bursting into light, to bloom again. This poem appeared in the Rag blog in March of 2010, as did some of the other poems I'll read today, and that's www.theragblog.blogspot.com, Austin's radical voice since 1966. This is called Pirates of Healthcare Reform. Of all the old pirates of story and song, Blackbeard and Bluebeard, John Silver called Long, each had his own favorite way to do wrong. Some liked to pillage, and some liked to loot. Some preferred sword play, and some liked to shoot, and some used the gangplank for giving the boot. But all of the things that they liked very best was opening up a just robbed treasure chest right in front of an unwilling guest. Was these your jewels, my dear? They'd pleasantly coo. Was these your doubloons? Well, that will not do. And they'd take for themselves everything nice and new. But at least when they did that, they didn't pretend it was for your own good, but their larcenous ends upon which such thievery clearly depends. Our modern-day pirates are much more discreet, with old-school ties and nicely shod feet and business arrangements so tidy and neat. They've elected themselves to the highest posts, bought men with money, blackmailed their host, poisoned the wells, and turned us into ghosts. There's never a sign of a saber or gun, just fine printed contracts and thefts quietly done, so smooth that the robbers do not even run. Just the money, that's all, runs away in the night to foreign bank fortresses tucked out of sight in places where empire still flexes its might. The factories left and all the real jobs turned into vast slave ships filled with poor slobs who don't even know how bad they've been robbed. And we, poor blighters, left holding the bag, empty as a promise, wrapped in the flag, got nothing much left but a real stone drag. Now they've passed a new law for our pirate lords. We're to empty our wallets or face down their swords in the form of new taxes and sugar pill words. Here's a thought for the rascals who pillage and steal. With our dignity may go our bleeding heart zeal. We may soon see you lashed to the old breaking wheel. Let's bring back the gallows, the rack and the whip. Catch those corporate pirates and let the cat rip. Don't pay the ransom, you're just being clipped. Told you it was going to get fiery in here. Last spring, when I was here for East by Southeast, the Arab Spring in the Middle East was in full flower, and one of the poems that I read then was inspired by those events. This poem, which appeared in the Rag blog in May last year, is partially inspired by the Arab Spring and partially by other things. It's called Fire in the Hole. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. Daily before our eyes, men and women speak truth to power. Power crushes them. They rise up again and again. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. Daily before our eyes, spoiled executives flaunt staggering profits while staggering veterans beg for alms. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. Daily before our eyes, arrogant legislators slash funds for education while prisons strain to contain more youths. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. Daily before our eyes, scowling agents of morality seek to insert themselves into the private cracks and crannies of our lives. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. Daily before our eyes, decent working people, having done the right thing all their lives, find they have nothing to show for it. The powder keg is full and the fuse is lit. The Mayan calendar ends in the year 2012, an election year. Some believe the world will end as well, but if it continues, hear this. The world of Obushma and Rotumny, Trumpet and Gingrich Vitus is ending. It ended, in fact, on 9/11 when the Twin Towers tumbled and the scraps of our freedom were swapped for security. Ended when the feds bailed out securities firms that bilked retirees' accounts. Ended when the promise of peace became the reality of multi-war. Ended, finally, when, before our eyes, we saw poor downtrodden camel jockeys stand up in the dust of centuries and say no more. Are we free people or slaves? Will we be left behind? The powder keg is full. The fuse is burning. Last fall, we saw not an explosion, but an evolution here in the United States, and that swept around the world and is still sweeping, with Occupy Wall Street becoming people's occupation of thought again, and critical judgment, and inhabiting their best selves. I have a lot of hopes that I didn't have a year ago, and this poem was written in February this past year. It's called Hiatus. The plazas are empty, swept clean of debris, smug analyses already written. Elections are coming, everyone run to see. Is it Newton or Elrod or Mittens? Out of the glare of the media stare, the knowledge unerringly spreads. The people have spoken, the old ways are broken, and a new generation now treads lightly as snowflakes, deeper than earthquakes. Firmly, they step to the fore, unafraid of each other, knowing Earth as their mother, occupying tomorrow's far shore. As spring comes around, let us welcome the sound of our children, all rising as one. Step away from the past. Find a way that can last. Our survival demands that we yearn, not for privileged wealth, but for happiness, health, and a sense of creation and worth. If no one is greedy, no one must be needy. And a new age proclaim peace on earth. The plazas are empty, swept clean of debris, but the rising continues to roll. When the people come out and again raise a shout, trust your kids, not some fake, faux news poll. I have one more very brief, very recent poem. This is called Grand Central. It hasn't appeared anywhere before today. Life is a trip, and somewhere Grand Central Station awaits us. The weary traveler disembarks, scans the crowd for a familiar face, and then sees that all are familiar, all are beloved. Everything that was lost may now be found. Your ticket is already punched, amigo. Vaya bien. A tardes.